What's up everybody? Welcome to Gray Rabbit Finance. I'm your host Tyler, and in today's video I'm going to be updating my market analysis for all the major indices for the end of April 2023. Let's hop in. Okay guys, we're going to start with the S&P 500 index. And so like we talked about last time, on the monthly chart we have resistance here at the Kijun-sen, which is the green line, and also at the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level. We mentioned last time that we had the Ichimoku death cross, and we also have the Chico span about to cross down below the candles, which is another bearish signal. So let's go into the weekly chart for some more detail. Okay, let me zoom out for you guys. So on the weekly chart, we can see that we're hitting resistance here at the top of the Kumo cloud. And this was the previous pivot point that we were looking for last time. So we can see that a very tiny doji bar is forming here on the weekly chart. And so that usually is a typical signal for a reversal. So we're going to keep our eyes open for a possible reversal down. But we also have a death cross is about to form on the stochastic here, and also possibly an Ichimoku death cross. And we had, last time we mentioned we had 2 out of the 3 Senyoko Kyoten signals. So, you know, until the price breaks out of the Kumo cloud, you know, this is not, we're not confirming a change in trend. So I'm still very bearish on this market in general. But if we do have a close above the 4,325 level, which is this blue line here, this teal blue line, turquoise, then we're going to have to reevaluate this idea. But if we have a close below the 3,764 level, which is this blue line, the light blue line here, I think we're going to confirm our downside target. And this hasn't changed from last time. The downside target is still 3,196 level, and we're expecting this to touch around October 2023. So, you know, and like I mentioned last time, we have the Ichimoku time cycles drawn on. So the vertical green lines are the 26-period Ichimoku time cycles. And the vertical blue lines in dark blue here are the 9-period Ichimoku time cycles. And those have all been drawn on the weekly chart. Now, so like I mentioned, we are going to look for the, excuse me one second. We're going to look for the carat right down here around this 3,196 level. Okay guys, here's the NASDAQ 100 index. And on the monthly chart, you can see that there's a bearish doji candle forming, which is typically a sign of reversal. But we do have 5 days until this candle closes, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. We have the Kijun-sen above acting as an overhead resistance. We have the Chico span, which is the yellow line almost below the candles. We have a death cross, an Ichimoku death cross, and we also have the Kumo cloud flat. So these are all bearish signals in my opinion. So let's go to the weekly chart and let's get a little more detail. Here is a look at the weekly chart. And so right now we have 2 out of 3 of the Senyoko Kyoten signals, but we need the price to break out of the Kumo to negate this bearish trend. We have the price hitting resistance from the previous Kijun-sen, which is this area here on the green line. We have the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen are both flat now, which are acting like magnets to pull the price back down towards them. And we also have a bullish twist forming, but it's still too small, so this doesn't really mean anything yet. So we're going to keep our eye on that, but like I said, if we don't have a break above this level, the 13,753 level, and a break out of the Kumo cloud, then in my opinion, this trend is going to continue downwards, and we're going to see price reach down to this 9,609 level. And so that's where we are going to look to grab our carat, and I'm looking for that to happen around January 29th, 2024. So let's keep our eye on that. And now let's move into the crypto markets. Here's Bitcoin US dollar, and like we mentioned last time, we had an Ichimoku death cross. We have a bearish twist on the Kumo cloud, We have the Chico span, which is the yellow line below the candles. And we have the price reaching the overhead resistance at the bottom of the Kumo cloud here. Now let's zoom into the weekly chart. Okay guys, let me just get this looking pretty. Okay. Alright, so on the weekly chart, we have 2 out of the 3 Senyoko Kyoten signals for a change in direction. So we have a gold cross, we have the Chico span above the candles, but the last one we would need is for the Kumo cloud to break, which I really don't think is going to happen. We're hitting the overhead resistance here, which was at the 33,026 level, which we called out last time. And we have a large bearish candle here forming on the weekly chart, or which already closed on the weekly chart. We have the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen both flat, and we have a death cross down here just about to form on the stochastic. So if I have to give an honest opinion of this chart, guys, this is looking very bearish to me. I'm expecting further downside, and I'm actually expecting to hit this target here, 14,895, and I'm looking for that target to hit around July 2023. So that's where I recommend getting your carrot. So let's put the carrot there, and that's going to be our target. But in other fundamental news, I just wanted to touch on this real quick. Coinbase CEO says that the crypto exchange is preparing to go to court with the US SEC. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, told CNBC that the cryptocurrency exchange is going to have to actually end up going to court with the US Securities and Exchange Commission. Last month, the SEC issued Coinbase with a Wells notice, which is often one of the final steps before the regulator formally issues charges. Armstrong also said Coinbase would consider options of investing more abroad, including relocating from the US to elsewhere, if the regulatory situation does not improve. So guys, highly recommend, if you do have crypto, to make sure that you get it off of the exchange, whatever exchanges you have, especially if it's Coinbase, just to be safe with all this regulatory stuff coming up in the future for Coinbase. So just a heads up there, and I'm going to post a link to this article below in the description of this video. Ethereum US dollar on the monthly chart. Okay guys, let's get to the notes. So we had a death cross here for the Ichimoku. We have a bearish twist on the Kumo cloud, and we have a bullish candle here. It's a bullish candle, but it has a very large wick at the top. So, whenever I see a large wick, like I mentioned in the last video, I pretend that it's kind of like a rubber band. And when you pull this rubber band, it shoots the price back down. Or here, for instance, here's a long wick on this candle. It shoots the price back up like that. So just keep that in mind. That's how I like to think about it. And we do have the price here that was reaching this overhead resistance, which we called out last time. That's the 2,228 level. So this wick looks like it hit into that resistance, and for my opinion, it looks like it's getting rejected at that resistance level. So I'm expecting further downside. But let's take a look into the weekly chart. Zoom out on that. You guys can see that better. Yeah, so on the weekly chart, so we had 2 out of the 3 Senyoko Kyoten signals. So we have the gold cross, we have the Chico span above the candles, but the last one we need is a break outside of this Kumo cloud. So we don't have that, but we are hitting resistance here at the previous Kijun-sen, which was the 2,228 level. And we had a large bearish candle here in blue that closed on the weekly chart, which perhaps could be a sign of reversal. And we have the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen both flat on the weekly. And we have, which looks like we could be having a death cross forming on the stochastic soon. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. But last time we called out this target here. So this is my long-term target for Ethereum. And I am looking to get the carrot here around the $135 level. And this is looking to bottom around July 2024. But as we get more price action, I will be updating all these targets You know, we have to use the information that we have right now. So this is what I'm seeing, and this is my target so far. So look for that 135 around July 2024. Let's hop into the DXY US dollar index. Okay, now we have the current price is closing on the monthly. We have 4 days and 20 hours left on that until close, but we have right now a bearish candle that's looking like it's going to close below the Kijun Sen. We have a stochastic death cross, and yeah, so that's what we have on the monthly. Let's hop into the weekly chart. Get this looking pretty. Okay, guys, and on the weekly chart, we have an Ichimoku death cross. We have the Chikou span well below the candles. We have the price below the Kumo and the Tenkan Sen. And we have, however, we do have an inside bar forming on the weekly, so this could be a sign of reversal back up. So we could have a potential retracement back to this Tenkan Sen, and then another bounce down. So this is going to be really important to keep an eye on this $100.33 level, because if we get price to close below that level, this is going to confirm the N wave down. So until then, you know, we can't confirm this idea yet, and we do have these two inside bars forming, which are typically a sign of reversal. So we could have a bounce back up, but long term, I'm still seeing the dollar index going down. And let me show you why. Because if we look here on the daily chart, just for a little bit more detail, we have a bunch of bearish N waves heading down in this direction here. So, like I said, let's keep an eye. If this closes down below here, we're going to confirm the downtrend. But we need it to break below the $100.33 level. And so, like I mentioned, I'm expecting this target here, $94.74, and I'm expecting that to reach around June 2023. So let me put a caret in there so we can get the caret around there. Yeah, that's June 2023, $94.74. Okay, and in some interesting fundamental news for the dollar, here's a headline from Zero Hedge. It's a defund the global police moment, Jen says. De-dollarization is happening at a stunning pace. Jen, who now runs money at Eurizon SLJ, warned in a recent briefing note that the dollar is losing its reserve status at a faster pace than generally accepted, as many analysts have failed to account for last year's frantic swings in exchange rates. This is a quote from Jen. The dollar suffered a stunning collapse in 2022 in its market share as a reserve currency, presumably due to its muscular use of sanctions, Jen and his colleague Joanna Fryer wrote. Exceptional actions taken by the US and its allies against Russia have startled large reserve-holding countries, most of which are emerging economies from the so-called Global South, they said. As the FT reports, Jen estimates that if you adjust for price changes, the dollar's share of official global reserve currencies has gone from about 73% in 2001 to around 55% in 2021. Then last year, it fell to 47% of total global reserves. Now, guys, that is pretty scary for the U.S. dollar. So I'm gonna link to the full article in there so you can read more about it. But you know, I presume that is going to have a large effect on all the markets as countries look to stop using the dollar and stop being so reliant on the US dollar as their reserve currency. You know, we have the BRICS nations talking about starting their own reserve currency. So, you know, this is just something that everyone should be aware of, and, you know, just keep an eye on it, because this will be affecting the price of a lot of different charts that we're looking at. And like I said, I'm going to put a link to that also in the description. This is US oil, or the WTI crude oil. And so like we said last time, we have this really long wick forming here, or that already formed here on the monthly chart, and had support from this major trend line. We only have one out of the three Senyoko-Kyoten signals so far. So we need to look for some of the other ones. but that's just this death cross here, you know. So we have that, but we still have a bullish Kumo here, and we still have the Chico span above the candles. So that's overall, that's why I'm still bullish on oil right now. And the Chico span, I think, is going to start tracing these candles back up in the future once it hits here. And I'm looking for the close and price above this $97 level, and I'm looking for that close to confirm the bull trend up. So let's look at the weekly chart for a little more detail. Now, on the weekly chart, we can see that we had a price gap up here recently. That was back in the beginning of April, on April 3rd. We mentioned that in the last analysis too. But we had this support on the major trend line, and you know, we need to look for the Sanyoku-Kyoten signal. So we need a gold cross, we need Chico span above the candles, and we need a Kumo cloud break. So that's why this $97 level is so important, because if that gets broken, then we're going to see a huge shift in momentum here in this market. But until then, I think this market is just going to be ranging until it can start to ride this trend line up. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But right now, my future price target is $150 per barrel, and I'm expecting this to happen around September 2024. So let's get the carrot there. This is our long-term target, and you know, like I mentioned before, I will be updating this. But right now, you know, I think commodities are going to be entering into a bull market. We're at the very beginning phase. So I am quite bullish on all these commodities, and especially oil. So let's look for the 150 level here around September 2024. Okay guys, and now we're going to look at gold US dollar. So on the monthly chart, we had an Ichimoku death cross. We have the Chico span almost above the candles, and we have a major trend line breakout here. We have the Kumo cloud pointing up, and we had a stochastic gold cross forming right here, and we have a huge wick forming on the monthly candle. So that's right here. That's that. Here's the gigantic wick, and like we said, this could be a possible reversal. You know, there's a lot of resistance here at this $2,070 level, which we called out last time. So I'm expecting a reversal off of this, and probably, you know, this candle closes in 4 days, so I'm expecting a reversal next month in the gold markets. But let's look at the weekly chart and let's take a look at more detail. Okay, so I'm expecting here on the Ichimoku time cycle also, which is going to be on May 8th, 2023. This is my reversal point here, or it's called a Henka-B, the day of change. So I'm expecting the Henka-B here on May 8th, 2023, and a reversal down. But on the weekly chart, we have 3 out of the 3 Sanyoku-Kyoten signals in the bullish direction. So we have a gold cross, we have the Chico span above the candles, and we actually do have a bullish Kumo here, but this is still a baby Kumo, so there's not enough steam in this to confirm the trend. We would need an N wave to close above this $2,070 level to have a nicer Kumo to confirm the bull trend. So until then, you know, I'm seeing the stochastic starting to range up here and probably start coming down again. I'm thinking that this is just forming a double top here, because we also have the Tenkan and the Kijun-sen flat. So I'm expecting price to come back down. And my next target, my long-term target for gold is going to be this 1,575 level. And I'm expecting for that to happen around May 2024. So let's put the carrot in, and let's expect to get the gold price down around this point here. But I will keep you guys updated if I see anything change. But so far I just see this 1,575 level, and that's May 2024. This is silver US dollar. And like we mentioned last time, we have an Ichimoku death cross. We have the Chico span below and tracing the candles. And we have a recent double top here. Until we can confirm a close above the $30 level for silver, I'm still bullish on this. I'm still bearish on silver right now. And I'm going to show you why. So let's look at the weekly chart. And here we go. So on the weekly chart, we have 3 out of the 3 bullish Senyoku Kyoten signals. So we have the gold cross, Chico span above the candles, and we also have a bullish twist here on the Kumo. But like I mentioned, this is similar to the gold chart. This is still a baby Kumo, and it's not a big enough cloud to confirm the bull trend. So we would need more N waves going up, and we would need to close above this $30 level. But you can already start to see here, if I zoom in, that we're having a pretty large wick here on this candle. And you can see that the price is meeting resistance here at the top of this trend line. So I'm expecting a bounce, and I'm expecting a reversal to happen around May 15th, 2023. And then I'm expecting price to come back down again. And my target right now is $15.64. And I expect that to happen around April 2024. So let's put our carrot in there, and let's expect to get let's scoop up some silver around those levels, because I really do think that silver is about to take off. If you look at the overall pattern, this is a cup and handle. So usually the cup and handle goes like this, and then it kind of builds some pressure and then explodes to the top side. So look at all this room to run here, up to $50, and I would expect it to go much higher. But that's going to be in the future, and I'm going to let you guys know when I think it's ready to blast off. But until then, I'm expecting further downside to bounce off this major trend line here, possibly one last time before we take off. So I'm going to keep my eye on that, and I'll keep you guys updated. But that's what I'm seeing for silver right now. $15.64 around April 2024. Okay guys, and last but not least, we're going to look at platinum US dollar. And so platinum actually had a pretty explosive move up here on the monthly chart. We broke out through the top of the major trend line here. We have the price above the Kijun Sen now. And this candle closes in 4 days. So we're going to keep an eye on that, but it's, was a pretty big move. You can see the size of that candle. And we have the Chico span tracing the candles. So you can see that this Chico span is probably going to get exhausted up here around this level, and then start to trace the candles. I think price will start to trace back down again. And I say that too because the Kumo cloud is flat, which just shows that this is still kind of just a ranging market. We don't really have any direction in the market yet. But let's look at the weekly chart for some more detail. Okay guys, properly sized. Okay, on the weekly chart, we have 3 out of the 3 Senyoku Kyoten signals. So we had the gold cross, we got Chico span above the candles, and we do have a tiny bullish Kumo cloud, but like I mentioned before, this cloud is too small. So we're gonna need a close in price above the $1,177 level to get a big enough Kumo to start showing us that the trend has actually changed for the bullish direction. We also have the price hitting the 1.272 Fibonacci level, so I'm expecting a reversal from this point here. And right now I have the Henka B, or the day of change, happening around May 29th, 2023. So I'm expecting price to reverse it on this day. But yeah, so like I said, I'm thinking reversal here, and I actually changed the price target. Since this move was so explosive up, I've raised our target up to $906, and I'm expecting that to happen around November 2023. So guys, let's put the carrot in there, and let's look for that level, November 2023, $906. And I think that's going to just be one of the last touches on this major trend line here. before another explosive move up like gold and silver. So I'm going to keep you guys posted on that. But thank you for joining me today for this analysis. If you guys have any price targets, you have any ideas, feel free to comment below. If you have any crazy news articles or stories that are relatable to these charts, let me know. But yeah, guys, what do you think? What are your price targets? What are your crypto targets? What are your precious metal targets? I'm curious to hear from you. But as always, thanks for joining me today. If you stayed till the end, thank you very much. And feel free to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.